Welcome to Fresh Start. Are you ready for health? If you're finding us on YouTube, we encourage you to go to our website, freshstart.mhsystem.org, to see all of our modules.
In this module, we'll be learning more about fiber. The World Health Organization tells us that the leading causes of death and disability globally are too little whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, which are all foods that are high in fiber, and too much salt and sodium. This accounts for nearly a quarter of the deaths globally. That's why the fork is the most important determinant of your health. That's why we want you to eat more on the green side, those plant-based whole foods, and eat less of those animal products and processed foods. Remember, we said you don't have to eat a vegan diet. We want you to eat a plant-based whole food diet, minimizing or even eliminating those animal products and processed foods, but at least saving them for special occasions and use those animal products as condiments. Just enough for the flavor.
Remember the stoplight? We want you to eat those green foods. Those are foods that are plant-based whole food. They're high in fiber and water. We want you to fill at least 75% of your plate with those. Those fruits and vegetables, cooked whole grains, legumes, which are the beans, peas, and lentils, and seeds and nuts that are unsalted and uncoated. We also want you to prepare those foods with minimal salt, sugar, and fats and oils added. We want you to be cautious with those yellow foods, limiting those to less than 25% of your plate if you eat those at all. Fish without oil, skinless poultry without oil, low-fat dairy, and egg white. There's also some of those plant-based foods that are processed that you want to limit to less than 25% of your plate, such as breads, and you want those at least 51% whole grain. The pastas, which you want to be whole grain or legume pastas, and nut butters without additives. Another way to look at it is that 75% of the plate, the green zone, fill up with those plant-based whole foods, high in fiber and water, and save those other foods for a quarter of the plate or less.
We want you to fill up with fiber to feed the farm that grows within us. Our intestinal tract, in particular the colon, is full of all kinds of healthy microbes. Most of these are bacteria, and many of these bacteria eat fiber. As in the past, we were all excited about unraveling the genetic code by learning our DNA. Our new frontier is the microbiome. We're finding out that it influences health in many, many ways, and the best news is that it's modifiable. We can make some healthy choices to improve the microbiome, which then improves our health. We encouraged you to consider reading the book Fiber Fueled, which discusses this in much more detail than we can outline today. Not to scare you off with the details on these slides, we do just want to point out that dysbiosis, a microbiome that is out of balance, is associated with many of our chronic lifestyle-related diseases. These include things like obesity and diabetes and heart disease and high cholesterol and kidney disease. It also influences many of our endocrine and hormonal diseases, like endometriosis, polycystic ovary syndrome, and many of our common cancers like breast, endometrial, and prostate. It also is involved in our autoimmune diseases. The microbiome is also associated with our mental and emotional diseases, to include Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and anxiety and depression. The good news is the optimal microbiome loves fiber. That's why we want to eat those plant-based whole foods, which are full of fiber. The microbiome also loves diversity. Studies have shown that the healthiest microbiome results from eating at least 30 different sources of fiber in a week's time. That's why we want to fill up at least 3/4 of that plate with foods that are high in fiber and water, fruits and vegetables, legumes, cooked whole grains, seeds and nuts, and a variety of these. Mix it up. Try some new ones.
Are you ready for health?